My Lords, from His Majesty's gracious speech, I would like to take this opportunity to express deep concern at the proposal for a bill to ban conversion therapy. I should make clear that, of course, no one should be subject to abuse or coercion. But if independent lawyers have concluded that there really are gaps in the law against abuse and coercion, then we should be shown their advice and those gaps should be filled. However, that seems doubtful. Research commissioned by the previous government showed that the evidence base for a new law is weak. My main fear is that a criminal law against conversion therapy would have unintended consequences for children and young people expressing distress over what gets called gender identity, but which in reality is gender dysphoria. The Cass Review made very clear that children should be able to access help to explore, in a genuinely open way, their experiences of gender dysphoria, and that this is not conversion practice. But banning conversion practices risks scaring into silence precisely those professionals who have young people's best interests at heart. Dr. Cass has spoken about how clinicians who work in child gender services have told her that they are already afraid of being accused of conversion therapy if they follow a questioning, or in the proper professional sense of the word, a critical approach. She is also clear that such an approach is absolutely the right one to take for anyone who looks after children. Actually, she says in her report, that a mere informed consent model of care is incompatible with good safeguarding of children and young people. Professionals have to do much better than simply giving young people the medical interventions they think they want, especially if they only think they want it because they've spent too much time watching YouTube videos telling them that transitioning is some kind of magic solution to all their problems. As I've said in this chamber before, there are increasing numbers of detransitioners like Kira Bell, who I have met and spoken with, who heavily regret their decision to transition, and whose only advice they received from so-called health professionals when they were young was one of affirmation of their early and ill-informed wish to change their gender. Clinicians and others are right to not just take a young person's word for it when they say they are another gender. There can be serious safeguarding issues which need to be investigated. A doctor might believe that a young person's desire to be another gender stems from trauma. They might believe that they don't comprehend the risks and consequences well enough to make an informed decision. If a doctor recommends a watchful waiting approach to a child, but that young person disagrees and insists they need medical intervention, is that doctor guilty of conversion therapy? Would they be guilty, in the language of conversion therapy laws we've seen, of suppressing or inhibiting that young person's gender identity? Even if they're ultimately found not guilty, to find themselves on the wrong end of a police investigation for conversion therapy as a result of the child making a complaint would exert a massive chilling effect on good medical practice. The pledge in the Labour manifesto was to protect an individual's ability to explore their sexual orientation and gender identity. But that's not good enough. Any law on conversion therapy must comprehensively protect the professional integrity of doctors, teachers, and others who work with children. People who put those children's best interests first, even if that means not giving them what they think they want. They must not be chilled into silence. Those who truly and deeply care about the well-being of the children and young people in their care should not be at risk of criminalisation. The government must take heed of Dr. Cass's exhortation to take inordinate care with this. That's the phrase she used, inordinate care. We need to slow down and engage in serious consultation with a full range of stakeholders, not just those who want this bill.